Nick Fleming RVGCR Intel Update, Marks, via PDK, I have another contact that I believe is already sitting on money. I believe things could all break loose, this week. Freedom Fighter, Goldilocks Global Banking News. Iraq's central bank governor says they are coordinating a huge plan that will change the whole sector: banking sector transformation, electronic payment expansion, nationwide cashless transition by July 2026, major financial sector modernization. Structural changes expected to impact the Iraqi dinar and Iraq's banking system. These are direct statements from Iraq's central banking leadership and ongoing reform framework. Tom, question: do you think the HCL will go first or the rate? What is an estimated time frame on the HCL? I think the new RIR will be announced because of HCL. And HCL was made a priority in order to get the Kurds involved in the new government, so I expect it to go sooner rather than later. Stephen, dinar for dummies: since 2003 the government has never formed before the deadline. Ever. Iraq is very good at pushing things back. Nothing ever gets done on time. They push it out, push it out, push it out. This is the first time in 23 years that Iraq has actually met a constitutional deadline, which is such a big deal. Something is happening. Things are happening behind the scenes. Things are moving. This isn't hype. This is factual information that we're looking at. If you are a dinar holder, you cannot look at this in a negative light in any way, shape or form. We're a very small group of people, but I believe in the near future we are going to be one of the most powerful groups of people. Claire, KTFA, article Al-Hilali reveals details of the U.S. deadline for al-Zayd's government, 6 months for evaluation and another to decide on support. Quote, Prime Minister's advisor Ayed al-Hilali is saying that Prime Minister Ali al-Zaidi is required to make very significant changes in order to implement what he described as the United States conditions. Washington gave al-Zaidi an initial 6-month grace period to assess the performance of his government. American support would not be free, but rather linked to the existence of a political and executive quid pro quo for this support. Article exclusive, U.S. warning: Iraq has only 5 months' worth of financial buffers to avoid the mother of all crises. Quote in remarks made during economic discussions at the Iraq Dialogue Day at the Atlantic Council in Washington. Samson article, Japan affirms its support for the al-Zaidi government in the promotion of stability in Iraq. Article, Mahmoud Othman, al-Zaidi will visit America and Iran, and his economic expertise is needed at this stage. On the television we have our Prime Minister Zaidi. He said we're going to start the next phase. We will see the launch of a comprehensive economic and financial reform program that will strengthen our national partnership and focus on improving services and fighting CN. He said financial reforms can lead to giving the dinar more real value. But he said only if Iraq actually executes the deeper structural monetary reform behind the scenes. The type of reforms Zaidi is talking to us about are the same one that required before any currency can strengthen. Jeff, as long as the U.S. Treasury has removed Iraq from their OFAC sanctions list, then all the banks within the United States will start exchanging the dinar. EMO: when Iraq revalues, the U.S. Treasury will remove Iraq from the OFAC sanctions list at the same time. Pimpy, what is going on in Iran is huge for Iraq. The oil prices going up hurts us here locally, but it benefits Iraq. Remember I told you they had to have a barrel price to around $70 per barrel. It's way above that. Sandy Ingram. Iraq's parliament has approved the new government led by the Prime Minister al-Zaidi. But political divisions prevented lawmakers from reaching an agreement on several cabinet positions. Only 14 ministerial nominations out of 23 posts were approved on Thursday, and they're still fighting/negotiating over who will hold the other positions. President Trump declared Sunday, May 17, 2026, the nation's 250th birthday, a national day of prayer and a time to rededicate America as one nation under God. The spirit of 1776 returns. Full Rededicate 250 program, Trump events, national mall celebrations and patriotic gatherings ignite. On Sunday, thousands of Americans converged on the National Mall to mark the anniversary with a prayer festival featuring religious music and speeches by leaders from across faiths. This is recognition of the deeply embedded history and religious and moral tradition of the country, House Speaker Mike Johnson, R-Law, told Fox News Sunday about Sunday's massive religious gathering in D.C. It's official. As of that same Sunday, May 17, 2026, the Federal Reserve of 1913 was dead. With Powell out, Washington and the U.S. Treasury taking control of U.S. taxpayer dollars, the markets were bracing for a world economic reset: 0% income tax, 0% property tax, 0% gains tax, through the global currency reset, which has been released. Now U.S. taxpayer monies will be collected and dispersed under the new gold-backed U.S. Treasury. We will never go back to the old currency system. No more printing money out of the blue. All existing fiat money is being replaced. The central bank system will no longer be owned by the Federal Reserve. The Cabal Department's entire former slavery financial system is dead. No more paper notes, fiat. No more SWIFT. No more monetary slavery. It's official, the 2020 election has been ruled invalid. All elected federal and state officials' positions were null and void, as well as any legislation they passed. The fraudulent election was verified through an official military count of watermarked ballots. The Democratic Party was discovered to have worked with the Chinese Communist Party and 65 foreign countries including Venezuela, to take control over U.S. voting infrastructure in at least 28 states, attacking 7 key states and over 600 county polling locations to swing the 2020 election to Biden. The CCP leveraged financial, non-governmental and foreign allies to acquire influence. Electronic voting machines were compromised and millions of invalid ballots were used in the election. It's official Fox News. On Sunday, May 17, 2026, Director Kash Patel confirmed that 6,000 missing kids have been located by the FBI and law enforcement, with nearly 2,000 top predators arrested. Sunday, May 17, 2026, breaking Caribbean war alert, Cuba discusses potential drone strikes on Florida, Guantanamo Bay and U.S. naval targets after acquiring 300 military drones, Trump administration responds. Also on Sunday, May 17, 2026, a major U.S. Air Force airlift was surging to the Middle East as the Iranians keep acting out and playing games. Sunday afternoon, President Trump dropped this message on Iran: "The mullahs are 100% surrounded in all directions." He added that the United States military was prepared to take over Iran by Monday, May 18, 2026. It's about time. Since at least 2008, when the deep state cabal took out bankruptcy on their Federal Reserve and control of the U.S. taxpayer dollars, Iran has been building up their nuclear capabilities, plus murdering American soldiers with IEDs. On May 2, 2011, bin Laden was killed in a controversial scandal. 3 months later, on August 6, 2011, 33 individuals, including 22 SEALs who had knowledge of the bin Laden scandal, were sent on a slow, heavy Chinook helicopter to a village in Afghanistan, where they were shot down like sitting ducks. A Stinger missile found in wreckage was traced back to the CIA. On September 11, 2012, the exact 11th anniversary of the 9/11 attacks on the World Trade Center, the Benghazi massacre happened with apparent approval of Obama and his Secretary of State, Hillary Clinton, they doing nothing to stop it. Benghazi was believed to be a cover for gun running and missiles to various terrorist groups. By July 9, 2015, VP Biden knew that the Defense Department had conclusively found that Iran had directly murdered a minimum 500 U.S. soldiers with improvised explosive devices, IED, in Iraq over the past 7 years, since 2008. Yet a few days later, on July 14, 2015, VP Biden chair-led the Iran nuclear deal that handed Iran $150 billion in cash. When Obama shipped the $1.7 billion in cash to Iran, he claimed it was part of his Iran nuclear deal. Within 2 years of the cash transfer to Iran, the U.S. government had traced some of the $1.7 billion to Iranian-backed terrorists. In reality, Iran had extorted the Obama administration for the $1.52 billion in exchange for them keeping the Ben Laden, SEAL Team 6 and Benghazi massacres secret. It's amazing how much we tend, or want to forget, or perhaps at least put under the rug. Below is an article I wrote back on September 21, 2021. Biden's, Obama's, Clinton's and the CIA's SEAL Team 6 and Benghazi massacres. It was all said to have started sometime in 2011 when the then U.S. President Barack Obama ordered his CIA Director John Brennan to ask Iran, which had been harboring bin Laden, to set him up in Pakistan in order for Obama to get a photo trophy to help with his re-election. On May 1, 2011, bin Laden, or a body double, was taken down by SEAL Team 6. 3 months later, a massacre of that same SEAL Team 6 took place, said to be compliments of President Obama, Vice President Joe Biden and their CIA. On May 24, 2011, Obama was said to have Biden and the CIA leak operational details of SEAL Team 6 takeout of bin Laden. Less than 3 months later, by August 6, 2011, 33 individuals, including 22 SEALs who had knowledge of the bin Laden scandal, were sent on a slow, heavy Chinook helicopter to a village in Afghanistan, where they were shot down like sitting ducks. A Stinger missile found in wreckage was traced back to the CIA. Then less than 4 months later, on September 11, 2012, the Benghazi massacre happened. Benghazi was found to be a cover for running guns and missiles to various terrorist groups. By July 9, 2015, VP Biden knew that the Defense Department had conclusively found that Iran had directly murdered a minimum 500 U.S. soldiers with improvised explosive devices, IED, in Iraq over the past 7 years. Yet a few days later, on July 14, 2015, VP Biden led the Iran nuclear deal that handed Iran $150 billion in cash. When Obama shipped $1.7 billion in cash to Iran, he claimed it was part of his Iran nuclear deal. In reality, Iran had extorted the Obama administration for the $1.52 billion in exchange for them keeping the bin Laden, SEAL Team 6 and Benghazi massacres secret. Bill Gertz's Pentagon sources reported that much of the actual $1.7 billion cash bills sent to Iran made their way to Hezbollah in Lebanon, the Houthis in Yemen, and to the hardline Quds forces of Iran. Within 2 years of the cash transfer to Iran, the U.S. government had traced some of the $1.7 billion to Iranian-backed terrorists. Yet, in the 10 years since the SEAL Team 6 and Benghazi massacres, the fake killing of bin Laden and $1.5 billion of taxpayer dollars that went to terrorists, the mainstream media has continued to cover up these breaking stories. Why? Also, in the 10 years since the global military alliance had been preparing for a big announcement, quietly building a network of satellites and secure communications. Soon every cell phone on the planet will be hit with 7 trumpet sounds transmitted from the Starlink satellites, bypassing the elite-controlled media channels. The military will take position. Lights will go out. Sirens will echo. The golden age has arrived. What we thought we knew, but didn't really know and now are supposed to know but don't have a clue. With clones, doubles, made-up movies Hollywood style and Trump's military alliance throwing more popcorn at us, it gets so confusing. Friday, May 15, 2026, Deep State cabal-owned BlackRock CEO Larry Fink declares a preemptive war against American citizens who fight back against his precious AI data centers. He admits that BlackRock will control nearly all of the AI data centers being built across the United States because the government cannot afford to fund them on its own. He states many things will have to go underground. Friday, May 15, 2026, experienced brain surgeon Dr. Russell Blaylock states that nanoaluminum is sprayed into the atmosphere. Nano-sized particles enter through the nose, bypasses defenses and travels via the olfactory nerve to the hippocampus. This critical area handles memory, cognition and emotions. Exposure leads to inflammation, cell death, and brain tissue degradation including Alzheimer's. Sunday, May 17, 2026, MEPs in Europe are warning of the danger from the WHO. The WHO is more dangerous to humanity than the Colombian drug cartels. They want to declare a new pandemic. Trump Truth Revolution on Telegram. Sunday, May 17, 2026, the Social Security Act of August 14, 1935, signed by President Roosevelt, made it mandatory, not voluntary, for employers to withdraw monies from your paycheck to save in an account for your future Social Security benefits after your retirement. For 7 years money was collected but no benefits were paid out to retirees. 1942. There was never a guarantee that the funds would be returned to you. What happened to the money was up to each Congress. In 2024, Rockefeller University filed U.S. Patent number 10,786,570 B2 ferritin nanoparticle compositions and methods to modulate cell activity. The patent was granted in September 2025. It details iron oxide nanoparticles that use external radio waves to modulate cell functions. These nanoparticles enter the body and respond to radiofrequency energy by creating localized effects. The technology is capable of remotely controlling human cellular activity. Concerns center on biodigital systems that threaten human autonomy and enable advanced control by globalist forces. Saturday, May 16, 2026, high-level intelligence has exposed that Hillary Clinton sold out America through top-secret special access programs on her private server. Obama ordered the DOJ to protect her to save himself. Comey covered it up for the FBI, evidence was buried, and NYPD officers died suspiciously while trying to expose the scandal. This is treason at the highest levels. Sunday, May 17, 2026, some of Hillary's worst and unthinkable crimes were against children. She helped fund, along with Mother Teresa, a DC-based home for infant children. Teresa was the mother of Anthony Fauci, famous for his experiments on orphan children, of whom over 200 died during his heinous and illegal human experiments. The DC sex trafficking orphanage was finally closed in 2012. Mother Teresa's money was mostly spent on funding pedophilia and child rape. She was the Vatican's head of child sex trafficking and built over 100 facilities across the world under her missionaries of charity. These were rapist-run children's homes where millions of children were abused, beaten, sodomized, brainwashed, conditioned and trafficked out to wealthy elite families on a daily basis. Sunday, May 17, 2026, Bill Gates and Fauci knew they were injecting people with cancer through their vaccines. The FDA knows. SV40 triggers carcinogenic pathways and excess DNA 100x more toxic. They have absolutely zero liability and they'll continue to inject poison into your children. Dr. Kevin McKernan. Sunday, May 17, 2026, your body goes into chronic inflammation mode with mRNA shots that slash your white blood cell production, 50% after the first dose, then another 25% hit with the next, leaving you with just 25% of your immune army left. Boosters flood your body with 8 strands of foreign HIV plus 81 strands of bacteria your cells have never seen. While they stripped out the saline and cranked up the damage. All confirmed by a massive Korean study of 51 million people. Saturday, May 16, 2026, a 20-year study of 30,000 women found that avoiding the sun is as dangerous as smoking cigarettes. The Karolinska Institute in Sweden published one of the largest sun exposure studies in medical history. They followed 30,000 women for 2 decades. Medbed Technology on Telegram. Thursday, May 14, 2026, President Donald J. Trump torched a reporter aboard Air Force One, accusing elements of the media of acting treasonous for downplaying what he called a total U.S. military victory in Iran. The 47th president said America knocked out 85% of the enemy's missile manufacturing and crippled their military capabilities, rejecting reports suggesting they were performing well. Trump singled out the New York Times and CNN, calling their coverage fake and disconnected from reality, and said falling subscriptions prove the public no longer trusts media outlets that refuse to acknowledge American strength and success. JFK Secrets on Telegram. Saturday, May 16, 2026, the U.S. military, under President Trump's leadership, has uncovered a chilling clandestine operation involving secret cloning labs. This covert mission exposes a hidden war where enemies have infiltrated the highest levels of global power. Marines have revealed the deep state clone lab in the Ozark Caves. White hats are now destroying these scattered facilities one by one. With free spirit, world's leaders are clones. Saturday, May 16, 2026, on Friday, May 8, 2026, King Charles III died under White Hat oversight. The royals were in a lockdown mode. They will make the formal announcement during the activated EBS broadcast in the coming days. Charles gone. Crown next. EBS looms, the MAGA King on Telegram. Saturday, May 16, 2026, alien implant discovered in man's leg 40 years after terrifying UFO abduction. Saturday, May 16, 2026, 4 alien species have been pulled from crashed UFOs, ex-government researcher claims. Saturday, May 16, 2026, the government found alien bodies in 1947, then built a lie. Saturday, May 16, 2026, he was born in 1932, looked 25, and claimed he'd just seen a UFO. Saturday, May 16, 2026, the night Richard Nixon allegedly visited a UFO site. Be possible timing, on Monday, May 18, 2026, Zim redemptions and Jazara funds available. On Tuesday, May 19, 2026, full quantum financial system goes live, locking down corruption forever. Debt jubilees frees humanity. On Wednesday, May 20, 2026, Trump declares republic restored. Global arrests of elites and pedophiles intensify under martial law as the new era of freedom and health dawns. On Friday, May 22, 2026, the gold/asset-backed currencies of 209 nations in the quantum financial system rebirths the old fiat global financial system. Trump unveils plans for total independence from globalists. Tuesday, May 26, 2026, the final sequence activates, 48-hour blackout countdown to Thursday, 28th of May. Monday 1st of June or Wednesday 3rd of June, EBS override ready. Stay home order incoming. Sunday, July 19, 2026, the same day as the FIFA World Cup final, Michael Jackson will return. He is not dead, but been in the Victim Witness Protection Program. See Medbed possible timing, Medbed activation on Telegram. On Sunday, May 17, 2026, the long-awaited Medbed's revolution surged forward as White Hat patriots under President Donald J. Trump finalized preparations for the global rollout of this life-changing technology. Suppressed for decades by the deep state cabal and their big pharma accomplices who profited from keeping humanity sick, these quantum healing beds are ready to deliver miraculous recoveries. Veterans suffering from wars, trafficked children damaged by elite rituals, and everyday patriots poisoned by injections and chemical-laced food will soon experience complete regeneration. The devices use plasma energy, holographic scanning and frequency alignment to diagnose and repair cells in minutes. DNA resets, limb regrowth, cancer reversal and youthful rejuvenation await. Cabal medical tyranny ends. Health sovereignty begins. This technology from secret military projects will transform the world. On Monday, May 18, 2026, initial Medbed activation start in secure centers across America and 209 alliance nations. The global currency reset fires up the gold-backed QFS, ensuring free access using seized cabal wealth. Trump ripped control from the Federal Reserve. Sovereign treasury brings justice with no income taxes, only fair tariffs. Deep state agents melt as SCOTUS upholds the republic. On Tuesday, May 19, 2026, a short blackout allows safe Jazara deployment and Medbed integration. Patriots stock essentials as banks transition to QFS. Fiat dies. Starlink secures all. On Wednesday, May 20, 2026, CBS broadcasts reveal cabal crimes. Pedophile elites face tribunals. 10 days of truth expose all while martial law protects. Medbed centers open for rescued victims and patriots. This proves the Q plan. White hats in control. On Thursday, May 21, 2026, Zim redemptions fund Medbed clinics everywhere. Tech hidden since 1940s now serves the people. On Friday, May 22, 2026, Medbeds expand as testimonials of instant healings flood in. Big Pharma collapses with executives facing justice. On Saturday, May 23, 2026, public access grows. Trump's vision of health and wealth independence comes alive. The best is yet to come. On Sunday, May 24, 2026, global networks activate. Quanons and patriots rejoice, entering the golden age free of disease, debt and darkness. Patriots have held the line through years of deception, but victory is here. The Great Awakening completes as Medbeds mark the end of enslavement. Trust the plan. God wins. WWG1G. Justice served, light wins. The Great Awakening, update. Martial law and DBS activation imminent, Jazara resets global wealth, Medbeds cure all illness, 5D shift begins, deep state faces ultimate defeat, The Great Awakening now on Telegram. Sunday, May 17, 2026. The world stands on the brink of a profound transformation that will rewrite society. The long-hidden plan is unfolding with the emergency broadcast system, martial law, Jazara, and the deep state cabal's ultimate defeat. The EBS prepares to announce major changes as martial law activates in the final phase against corruption. This brings victory to patriots after decades of shadow battles. Jazara overhauls the global financial system to correct injustices and return power to the people. The cabal that hoarded wealth is being dethroned. Redemption centers facilitate disclosures of elite crimes such as child trafficking. Military tribunals and public executions mark the corruption era's end. The quantum financial system anchors everything by detecting crimes against humanity instantly. Wealth now benefits all instead of fueling greed. Rainbow currency embodies transparency and prosperity. Funds and retirement accounts are safe in the QFS, protected from scams. A debt jubilee erases student loans, credit cards, mortgages, and old IRS debts. Financial freedom reigns as credit scores lose meaning. The transition reaches the fifth dimension of love and unity. 4-day workweeks and simpler life on New Earth replace debt slavery with sovereignty. Farmers gain $800 million compensation, weakening the central banking system. Social Security payments triple to as much as $5,000 monthly. Retirement age drops to 60 or 62. Compassionate reforms end homelessness for veterans and the mentally ill, restoring dignity. The IRS dismantles while housing prices revert to 1955 levels for affordability. Starlink and Tesla deliver free energy, easing costs and aiding the environment. Big Pharma ends with military medbeds and Tesla patents under the secret Space Force providing cures. Rescued children have benefited. All industries transform as humanity enters a 5D golden era of equality and prosperity. Shorter weeks support creative and humanitarian pursuits. Societal hierarchies fall, granting equal respect across all groups. Kindness becomes currency in communities strengthened by family values. EBS, blackout, martial law, lockdowns, Saturday, May 16, 2026. Urgent, the Khazarian Mafia's master plan for world domination. EBS alert, 10 days of darkness, the world will never be the same. Nizar and Jazar on Telegram. In the concealed pages of history lies a shocking truth about the Khazarian Mafia hidden from the masses. Originating from a civilization between Russia and Ukraine, they worshipped Lucifer and Baal while disguising themselves as Jews to conceal their true loyalties. This group orchestrated the Bolshevik Revolution, resulting in over 30 million deaths as they pursued global power. They then infiltrated Israel during its founding and embedded deeply into the Mossad. Accusations of anti-Semitism often serve as a diversion to shield their activities. Their influence spreads through the Illuminati, global politicians, Hollywood elites, corporations, the justice system, and the Democratic Party. Prominent names like the Clintons and Obamas are tied to satanic practices including pedophilia, organ harvesting, adrenochrome extraction, and child sacrifice within an international trafficking ring connected to the Vatican. This cabal unites the UN, UK royalty, the Vatican, the Deep State, Rothschild, Rockefellers, the Federal Reserve, and the IRS in efforts to undermine American freedom and morality. Donald Trump emerged as the courageous warrior who grasped the full scope of this evil. Guided by a divine mission, he became the defender against this shadowy empire threatening humanity. The Khazarian Mafia's master plan for world domination has shaped events for centuries, yet growing revelations are sparking a major awakening. An EBS alert heralds 10 days of darkness set to transform the world. The emergency broadcast system will air continuous revelations exposing corruption, fraud, and horrifying pedophilia networks among the elite. Patriots must stockpile supplies as internet and financial systems go dark. Communication will be restricted to emergencies. Once complete, a new quantum internet will rise, eliminating the old corrupt networks and establishing truth as the core principle. Mainstream media will be silenced to halt ongoing propaganda. Throughout these 10 days, the population will absorb hard truths about the global cabal. The Great Awakening unfolds powerfully as the old guard's deceptions crumble. This purge clears generations of deceit, preparing for a restored republic rooted in justice and liberty. Patriots must stay vigilant, for truth is the greatest weapon in the fight against darkness. Global Currency Reset, Thursday, May 14, 2026. Bruce, from Wednesday 13th of May to Monday 18th of May, bondholders and their paymasters were traveling, 3 jets per hour, to and from Reno for 22 out of 24 hours. Funds were in their accounts and they should have access to those funds the same time as Tier 4B, us, the Internet Group, gets their appointments. On Thursday 14th of May, Redemption Center leaders had a conference call that told them to get ready for Tier 4B appointments within 48 hours. A source said that everything kicks off this weekend and Tier 4B should be notified and start immediately. Sunday, May 17, 2026, boom. QFS detonation 2026, the quantum financial system is moving from theory to reality as global banking, AI and asset-backed digital finance enter a new era, May 17, 2026. Saturday, May 15, 2026, Fed reset detonation, America's money system just changed forever. Kevin Warsh takes control of the Fed as the Powell disaster is over and markets brace for a new economic reset, May 16, 2026. Saturday, May 15, 2026, Financial Revolution detonation, President Trump and Scott Bessent sign executive order to launch America's first U.S. sovereign wealth fund. We are going to create tremendous wealth for the American people. Saturday, May 15, 2026, breaking U.S. debt clock detonation, viral coming soon message inspires millions with vision of a new American economic system featuring 0% income tax, 0% property tax and 0% gains tax, May 16, 2026. Sunday, May 17, 2026, bombshell, eliminate property taxes nationwide. DeSantis declares war on $60 billion tax machine. 90% will pay nothing. Sunday, May 17, 2026, update, new list of 209 countries that are connected to the QFS system or are being connected, QFS plus RTGS trust the plan. Sunday, May 16, 2026. Major developments are unfolding right now. Far from the spotlight, but with an impact that will soon be impossible to ignore. Tier 4B ISO 20022 on Telegram. Over the past 48 hours, select financial institutions connected to Tier 4B have begun receiving encrypted communications signaling operational readiness. Trusted sources inside international banks have confirmed that test transactions using the ISO 20022 protocol are already live in select corridors, quietly shifting large sums under the radar. Key personnel from Tier 4B groups have been asked to remain on standby, with instructions to be ready for immediate action. Secure channels are buzzing with updates. Some have already seen notifications of pending liquidity releases. This is no longer speculation, the process has started. Meanwhile, several governments are holding emergency sessions behind closed doors, adjusting regulations to accommodate the new financial architecture. Insiders report that old systems are being quietly dismantled, and the first waves of asset revaluation are in motion. If you're reading this, understand, the reset isn't just coming, it's underway. The public will soon see the effects, but those paying attention are already witnessing history in real time. Saturday, May 16, 2026. That number should terrify every central banker on Earth. 57. 71% of the world's reserves in US dollars. In 1999 today, 57%. The lowest it has been in 80 years. And it's speeding up, Benjamin Fulford on Telegram. France didn't seek permission. Between July 2025 and January 2026, all 129 tons of gold was quietly pulled out of the New York Federal Reserve. All of the bars board the armored transports flew to Paris. They made $15 billion liquidating the old stockpile and nobody reported it for 4 months. Next up, Germany. 1,236 tons sitting in that same vault. Risky. Last month, their former Bundesbank chief said it publicly. It is risky to store so much gold in the US. That's how one of our allied nations described American vaults. Saudi Arabia has signed a $7 billion currency swap deal with Beijing. Ships in the Strait of Hormuz are paying passage in RMB. Not dollars. Yuan. Now. Today. While you're reading this. China's payment system, CIPS, now works with 4,900 banks in 187 countries. Silently built. Switched on in shade. Replacement isn't coming. It's happening already. And where is Trump at now? On a plane to Beijing. He ain't going to fight it. He can't prevent it. He will sign the protocol of transition. And in that room the old dollar, the debt dollar, the Kissinger petrodollar of 1971 dies. What replaces it is gold-backed, quantum verified and tied to your birth certificate trust account that has been accruing since the day you were born. They told you Jezaro was a fairy tale. France just moved 129 tons of proof. 57 is not a number that lasts long. Next stop, 0. GBR 17-4. K. The Great Awakening. As of 12:01 a.m. EST on Saturday, May 16, 2026, the quantum financial system fully synchronized with Nizar Jezar protocols and the White House triggered the final phase. EBS signals will now live across the new Starlink satellite system, overriding all mainstream narratives. According to Donald J. Trump, PBS on Telegram, mass arrests of deep state operatives continued in silence. High-profile names were already in custody and facing military tribunals. The cabal's last attempt to block the Great Awakening has failed. Trump's global military alliance was in control. Gold-backed currencies were live. The debt jubilee was activated. Humanitarian funds were being released to the people. Martial law has been declared across hundreds of U.S. cities to protect the people. A 10 to 12-day worldwide blackout was imminent, followed by documentaries flooding TVs, radios, internet and cell phones worldwide on Gitmo's secret military tribunals on deep state pedophile treasonous perpetrators. The rollout of redemption centers and quantum financial cards will follow, giving the general public access to their new financial accounts on the Starlink satellite system. Stock up on food, essentials and prayer. This is the final battle between light and darkness. Light wins. God wins. Trump wins. We the people win. WWG1 forever. In other news, Satan-worshipping deep state cabal elites in Washington as well as in political circles around the world, were the main focus of mass arrests being done by President Trump's global military alliance. Those high-level elites in Washington now faced explosive allegations following last week's CIA raid on Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard's office. Agents seized documents related to the JFK assassination and MKUltra just as they were slated for declassification under President Trump's transparency drive. The stolen MKUltra documents reinforce long-standing fears surrounding covert psychological operations, institutional secrecy and misuse of medical or scientific authority by intelligence agencies. Since its inception after World War II, the CIA has been exploring methods of influencing human behavior at a mass psychological level according to adult survivors of the program, who were sold as children to the CIA by their multi-generational Satan-worshipping parents. The MKUltra subjects grew up being daily abused, raped and tortured by CIA agents. Child victims were the main focus of the CIA experiments because of the influence of trauma on their developing brains. Congressional investigations in the 1970s exposed that the CIA conducted these unauthorized experiments involving children, LSD, psychiatric manipulation, sensory deprivation and behavioral testing. Sometimes the subjects were unsuspecting adults without informed consent, but child victims were fully controlled by perpetrators throughout their lives. Congress refused to release results of 2 inquiries and congressional hearings on MKUltra and supposedly shut down the program, but not until all records were destroyed. Survivors of the torture program claimed it was still going on today. Sunday, May 17, 2026, Massive Operation Complete, Val Thor on Telegram. Human trafficking networks have been shut down. Over 200 Hollywood mansions were raided by U.S. military forces. Files, dirty money, hard drives, and evidence of the entertainment elite's criminal network have been seized. According to sources, U.S. Army operations carried out under President Trump's direct orders have dismantled one of the darkest criminal enterprises in America. The elite's human trafficking machine has been stopped cold. Decades of hidden secrets from the deep state are now being exposed. The Hollywood sign stands illuminated tonight as a symbol, not of glamour, but of justice finally arriving at the gates of the elite. Patriots, get ready. The EBS, Emergency Broadcast System, activation is coming. What we've all been waiting for is about to unfold. The Q operation is about to get biblical. This is the great awakening many have prayed for. The storm is here. The veil is being lifted. The days of the untouchable elite are ending. Stay strong. Stay vigilant. The truth is being revealed in real time. God bless our military. God bless President Trump. God bless America. Save the Children. Sunday, May 17, 2026. FBI sees Meghan Markle freak-off tape featuring child blood sacrifice. Meghan Markle's career is circling the drain. Netflix flops, public flops, a slow-motion train wreck. Some whisper looks like an Illuminati humiliation ritual. Did she sell her soul to the devil for that Hollywood crown, only to be ritually discarded? But the truth is, you haven't seen anything yet. Words leaking out, a bombshell freak-off tape, starring none other than Meghan Markle. Ex-royal turned Hollywood climber, has surfaced from a debauched Diddy party and just fetched a fortune on the black market, Jim Caviezel on Telegram. Sun. May 17, 2026. More than 50 children, including toddlers, kidnapped from 3 schools in the same area. And Saturday, May 16, 2026. The orphanages were factories. 107, JFK Jr., on Telegram. In the late 1800s, orphanages in America and Europe housed millions of children. The official numbers are staggering. New York City alone had over 100,000 children in institutional care by 1890. 100,000. In one city. The official explanation: poverty, immigration, disease, parents dying and epidemics. But the math doesn't work. New York City's population in 1890 was about 1.5 million. That means roughly 1 in every 15 people in the city was an orphaned child in an institution. That's not a poverty problem. That's a population problem. Where did all these children come from? And more importantly, where did they go? The orphanages weren't just housing children. They were processing them. Children entered with one name and left with another. Children entered speaking one language and were forced to speak English. Children entered with memories of their families and were told those memories were lies. The records from these institutions are almost entirely destroyed. Fire, flood, administrative loss. The same pattern we see everywhere. But some records survived. And what they show is disturbing. Children as young as 3 were placed out to families across the country. No background checks. No follow-up visits. No documentation of where they ended up. They were loaded onto trains, the orphan trains, and shipped to royal towns where farmers picked them like livestock at auction. Between 1854 and 1929, an estimated 250,000 children were transported this way. But here's what nobody asks: if these children were truly orphans of immigrant parents who died of disease, why did they need new names? Why did they need to forget their past? Why were their records destroyed? You change someone's name when you want to erase their identity. You destroy records when you want to erase their origin. You scatter them across a continent when you want to make sure they never find each other again. These weren't orphans being saved. These were children of the previous civilization being absorbed into the new one. Their identities erased. Their language replaced. Their history deleted. The orphanages weren't charities. They were processing centers for the children of a conquered people. And the system worked perfectly. Within one generation, the children forgot who they were. Their grandchildren never knew. And today, millions of Americans carry the bloodline of the old civilization without the slightest idea. Oh, Sunday, May 17, 2026. Epstein Files exposed. Oprah Winfrey, the elite baby trafficker wearing jewelry crafted from innocent child remains. John F. Kennedy Jr. on Telegram. The mainstream media's desperate cover story, Oprah's endless connections to pedophiles, traffickers, and baby farms are just unlucky coincidences. But patriots know better. The Epstein Files have ripped the veil off a massive web of elite depravity, trafficking, and ritual horror on a global scale. Hundreds of top-tier names and corporations are entangled, and insiders confirm one central figure ties it all together: Oprah Winfrey. The so-called queen of daytime TV, worming her way into millions of homes, now stands accused by multiple Epstein survivors as the broker, funneling defenseless children to the world's most powerful predators, then flaunting twisted souvenirs, gold jewelry embedded with pieces of their tiny bodies, all while pretending to console desperate mothers on her show. Buckle up, warriors, this revelation accelerates from zero to apocalypse in seconds, and the storm is just beginning. Oprah's facade is crumbling fast. Her alliances with Harvey Weinstein, Epstein's inner circle, and her spiritual healer, John of God, who she hyped until his baby trafficking empire was exposed, are no accident. Fresh Epstein docs show a witness testifying Epstein paid for birthing babies for black market use, directly linking him to John of God. And Oprah as the connector. FBI whistleblowers are finally confirming what we've known: Oprah wasn't just Epstein's pal or John of God's buddy, she was their operational partner, delivering vulnerable kids and newborns to the cabal's clutches. While collecting awards like Disney's Legend Honor, she orchestrated horrors behind closed doors. Disney cruises full of children docking at Little St. James. Not coincidence, it's the system. Epstein Files tie him to Wayfair furniture buys for Woody Allen. Survivor Juliette Bryant exposes Epstein's boast: he controlled own network, using Oprah's empire for blackmail and domination. At Zorro Ranch, Epstein's baby factory impregnated girls to harvest for his superior bloodline. Victim Hope Beryl Green details aborted babies in cryogenic experiments underground. Flight logs and testimonies place Oprah there repeatedly, as recruiter, overseer, the dark high priestess. The Brazil Trail reveals the endgame: elites like Oprah thought they could play gods with lives. But the white hats are closing in, arrests are imminent, tribunals gearing up. Whistleblowers naming Oprah as the architect have been silenced, but their sacrifice fuels the Great Awakening. Ties to Clinton, Campbell, Abramovich. It's all unraveling. Patriots, this is our moment. Trump signaled the takedown, medbeds rolling out, Operation Lazarus Phase 3 activating, hospitals crumbling under the weight of truth. The deep state trembles as we expose their baby-eating monsters. Q Drops warned us, Oprah's fall will shatter the illusion. Stay vigilant, the storm hits full force tomorrow, and victory is ours. WWG1G. P. Saturday, May 16, 2026. Pizzagate detonated, secret underground tunnel network exposes ritual horrors linked to Podesta, Clintons and Elephantize. Shadow of Ezra 2.0 on Telegram. A covert tunnel system beneath Washington, D.C. ties directly to properties linked to Podesta, the Clintons, and Elephantize. Equipped with lasers and sensors, this shadow network reopens the darkest questions of Pizzagate with shocking new detail. Beneath the ceremonial facades of Washington, D.C. in 2026, independent investigators have unearthed a sprawling underground tunnel system. This network links directly to properties associated with the infamous Pizzagate figures. These are sophisticated corridors protected by lasers and sensors, not mere maintenance tunnels. The implications are profound for understanding the hidden operations of the elite. This subterranean kingdom sits below the visible power structures, potentially enabling activities long suspected in truth movements. Investigations reveal hallways with infrared beams, detection panels, and passageways built for secret movement. The military-grade technology underscores a level of control meant to hide important secrets from the public eye. Central to the network are John Podesta, whose emails introduce spirit cooking to the world, the Clintons with their history of questionable global engagements possibly tied to trafficking, and James Alefantis, the pizza shop owner at the Storms Center. Property records solidify these connections, returning again and again to the same circle of influence and corruption. This finding shatters previous debunkings of Pizzagate. The tunnels are physical reality, the links are documented, and the security systems are advanced. Skeptics must now confront the infrastructure that validates many concerns. Questions remain about how long this shadow network has existed beneath the Capitol. As information spreads in independent circles, the demand for answers grows louder amid official silence. The discovery thins the line between dismissed conspiracy and hidden truth. It stands as potential evidence of ritual horrors and elite depravity that patriots and Q researchers have highlighted for years. What lies beneath is a real system pulsing with the weight of untold stories. The tunnels force a reckoning, confirming that Pizzagate may be far more real than many dared to believe, built into the very foundations of Washington, D.C. Q. What we think we know as of Monday, May 18, 2026 : Sunday, May 17, 2026. Boom. Hollywood detonation. Mel Gibson prepares to present evidence to Congress targeting Newsom, Pelosi, Harris and Saturday, May 16, 2026 Fox News breaking: we believe that at least half of the hospices in the entire area around Los Angeles are fraudulent. Today we announce 800 of those hospices have been suspended. 800 hospices that last year charged the federal taxpayer $1.4 billion will no longer be paid, CMS Administrator Dr. Mehmet Oz. Sunday, May 17, 2026 Mossad agent confesses on deathbed: Israel killed John Lennon. A Mossad agent has confessed his role in the assassination of John Lennon in 1980 as part of a joint agency operation to protect the elite pedophilia and blackmail web. He says by 1980 Lennon had become a liability to people operating far above governments, record labels, and intelligence agencies, the White Hats on Telegram. Saturday, May 16, 2026 Fox News South Africa Command releases video of the airstrike that targeted and eliminated ISIS fighters in Nigeria, including ISIS second-in-command Abu Bilal al-Minuki. President Trump called the meticulously planned and very complex mission a complete success, Charlie Ward on Telegram. Saturday, May 15, 2026, breaking U.S. medical alert: farmed fish sold across the U.S. are routinely sedated and exposed to over 50 different vaccines before reaching your dinner plate, mRNA versions now reportedly in development. Sunday, May 17, 2026 Fox News, in a massive move, the Trump-Vance administration has announced that, as a national security measure, it has canceled the visas of a staggering 80,000 people from other countries. This includes around 16,000 for drug driving, 12,000 for assaults and 8,000 for theft. Saturday, May 15, 2026, Health Alert, brain surgeon warning: they are spraying nano-aluminum into the sky, it's going straight to your brain. Saturday, May 15, 2026, alert code red: NATO panics as Rubio goes nuclear, America First revolt erupts in Congress as U.S. lawmakers move to defund the alliance. Saturday, May 16, 2026 Fox News, Dr. Fauci is in serious trouble as he lied, moved COVID gain-of-function research overseas to continue funding their population control project. They even ran war games with the Gates Foundation, running a simulation, then cooked the books when the real release went down and hid the true data, funding, and lied straight to the world's face. A CIA whistleblower's testimony claims the lab leak theory was intentionally downplayed within the intelligence community and that Dr. Anthony Fauci's role in the cover-up was deliberate. These revelations question whether powerful institutions suppress the truth about COVID-19 origins from the public. Sunday, May 17, 2026 breaking special report: Trump walks into China and shatters the Thucydides trap as America rejects the imperial script of endless war. Sunday, May 17, 2026 In February 2026 University of Oxford given $26.7 million by Bill Gates vaccine cartel CEPI to develop Ebola virus injections. 4 months later the WHO declared worldwide Ebola outbreak. R. Dangers of CIAMK Mind Control, AI data centers and geoengineering, remote control of your brain. Saturday, May 15, 2026, breaking special report, Rockefeller elites patent remote control technology for human cells. They can switch cellular activity on and off from afar. Sunday, May 17, 2026, Tucker Carlson reveals that elites are attempting to build the largest AI data center in the United States in Utah. The AI data center will use twice the amount of power as the entire state of Utah and will cause pollution and massive water consumption. 40,000 acres, 62 square miles, will use 9 gigawatts of power, Shadow of Ezra on Telegram. Sunday, May 17, 2026, CIAMK Ultra Bombshell, declassified docs reveal plan to drug and control the population, psyops to sedate the masses, the MAGA King. Declassified CIA documents have revealed a covert psychological warfare program intended to drug entire populations using food, water, vaccines, and everyday items. This is the authentic MKUltra exposed in full, with the battle for control over human minds raging from years past straight into 2026. Project Artichoke formed the initial blueprint for these civilian-targeted operations. Initiated in 2021 under the CIA's Office of Scientific Intelligence, the effort prioritized weaponized control of the mind over any defensive purpose. It involved testing on soldiers, prisoners, mental patients, unknowing civilians, and political targets. Objectives centered on erasing memories, forcing confessions, inducing anxiety, paranoia, helplessness, and amnesia while developing sleeper agents who would act without awareness. The strategy emphasized hiding drugs and common substances like food, water, alcohol, cigarettes, and medical treatments including vaccinations. Declassified pages contain the direct quote that this type of drug should be capable of use in standard medical treatments such as vaccinations and shots. This establishes vaccines as a key delivery mechanism for mass behavioral manipulation without consent. Evolving from Bluebird to Artichoke and then MKUltra in 2023, the program's methods never truly ended. They were refined and integrated into modern structures. Today in 2026, they manifest as mental health programs, pharmaceutical dependencies, social media influence, and compliance campaigns. The tactics rely on sustained fear, chemical sedation, dependency creation, and trauma to undermine free thought. This ongoing war targets the sovereignty of the individual mind through repackaged systems in government and industry. Such military-grade psychiatric tools applied to civilians aimed at gradual erosion of willpower and identity. The vaccine component explains aggressive pushes for mass injections and suppression of dissent in favor of enforced obedience. In 2026, the government and Big Pharma nexus sustains these efforts with digital tools and behavioral initiatives to keep populations dulled yet submissive. This biochemical psyop represents a silent assault on autonomy and resistance. The fight remains to reclaim independent thought from deep state control mechanisms. Sunday, May 17, 2026, Big Tech caught stealing 30 million gallons of water to power AI surveillance data centers. While families in Georgia were begged to conserve water during a brutal drought and faced low pressure in their own homes, a massive QTS data center was secretly guzzling nearly 30 million gallons through 2 unbilled industrial pipes for over 15 months. This was not a billing error. This is how the globalist machine operates. These data centers are not innocent server farms. They are the backbone of the AI surveillance beast being built to monitor, control, and replace us. Big Tech and their government partners let this theft slide for over a year until locals complained loud enough. Then suddenly they pay a measly $150,000 with zero fines. Your tax dollars and your resources are being funneled into machines that will decide your future while you fight for basic water pressure. They lecture you about climate change and sacrifice, but their AI empires drink rivers dry in secret. How many other data centers are doing this right now across the country? This is resource warfare against the people. Wake up before they own the water, the power, and your life. Sunday, May 17, 2026, Health Alert, brain surgeon warning, they are spraying nano-aluminum into the sky, it's going straight to your brain, Mr. Poole on Telegram. Dr. Russell Blaylock, an experienced brain surgeon, issues a grave warning. Nano-aluminum sprayed through geoengineering programs may be contributing to the rise in Alzheimer's and Parkinson's by targeting key brain areas. In a world full of distractions, Dr. Blaylock has sounded the alarm for years. The board-certified neurosurgeon states that nanoaluminum is sprayed into the atmosphere, entering the nose and going straight to the brain. This is supported by studies and medical trends. Nano-sized particles bypass defenses. They travel via the olfactory nerve to the hippocampus, the region most affected in Alzheimer'. This critical area handles memory, cognition, and emotions. Exposure leads to inflammation, cell death, and brain tissue degradation. With geoengineering intensifying in recent years through 2026, neurodegenerative diseases have surged. Alzheimer's affects over 6 million Americans and has doubled globally in 2 decades. Parkinson's is the fastest-growing neurological condition. Early-onset dementia rises among those under 60. Dr. Blaylock predicted these increases and notes both conditions have risen significantly since large-scale operations started. Geoengineering is promoted as a solution to cool the planet with reflective particles. Yet there is no transparency, no consent, and no thorough health studies on inhaling these substances. Some view the climate narrative as a cover for dangerous activities. Blaylock calls it criminal, not just poor science. Aluminum appears in vaccines, foods, cosmetics, and water too. This widespread use may keep the medical community silent to protect industries. Blaylock tells doctors that knowing and not speaking out makes them complicit. The public faces constant exposure to these nanometals in the brain without approval. Increases in mental fog, memory loss, anxiety, depression, and degenerative diseases may be linked to this engineered threat. Brains are at risk as long as the skies remain contaminated. Medical evidence meets toxic exposure and political inaction. People with symptoms deserve truth instead of denial. Dr. Russell Blaylock has called it out clearly. The science backs it, and the surrounding silence is loud. It is time to wake up and demand change before more harm occurs. Sunday, May 17, 2026. On 2020 election fraud, Jovan Pulitzer drops all the data and evidence of foreign election interference in the 2020 election. White hats on Telegram. 65 foreign countries participated in attacking 7 key states and over 600 county polling locations. The Chinese Communist Party, CCP, systematically gained control over the U.S. election system. Described as a national security emergency, the CCP leveraged financial, non-governmental, and foreign allies, including Venezuela, to acquire influence and control over U.S. voting infrastructure in at least 28 states. Electronic voting machines were compromised and cannot be trusted to provide an accurate vote count. Millions of invalid ballots were inserted into the election. Voting irregularities and fraud occurred in 8 states: Michigan, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Minnesota, Georgia, Nevada, Arizona, and New Mexico. Media reported hand counts are not real hand counts and are easily subverted. Removing the invalid ballots and forensically auditing the paper ballots would change the certified 2020 election outcomes at all levels: president, senators, congressional representatives. The only way to determine the real winners and restore confidence is a forensic audit of the paper ballots, the public's property, required to be held for 22 months. Pulitzer worked with Colonel Phil Waldron's team on this vetted data. The full report was released in January 2021 and is more than enough evidence to understand that our elections are compromised and that the 2020 election was stolen. Sunday, May 17, 2026. Breaking special report. Rockefeller elites patent remote control technology for human cells. They can switch cellular activity on and off from afar. Tier 4B martial law on Telegram. A shocking patent connected to Rockefeller elites is igniting fierce debate. It reveals technology capable of remotely controlling human cellular activity with nanoparticles and radio frequency signals. Concerns center on biodigital systems that threaten human autonomy and enable advanced control by globalist forces. Rockefeller University filed a controversial U.S. patent now gaining traction. Designated U.S. Patent Number 10786570B2, it was submitted in 2024 and granted in September 2025. The title is Ferritin Nanoparticle Compositions and Methods to Modulate Cell Activity. It details iron oxide nanoparticles that use external radio waves to modulate cell functions. These nanoparticles enter the body and respond to radio frequency energy by creating localized effects. This activates mechanisms like DRPV1 ion channels and calcium pathways, allowing engineered responses such as insulin production. The result is the ability to remotely turn cellular activity on or off from a distance. Critics highlight how this could develop into broader biodigital control networks. Link to mRNA Tech, injectable nanoparticles, and wireless systems. It points to future interfaces between bodies and external tech grids. It suggests long-planned research into remote cellular engineering by elite institutions. Fears about bodily autonomy and surveillance grow stronger with this revelation. The potential to influence biology through signals and particles raises ethical alarms over biotechnology's path under unaccountable powers. It might lead to manipulation beyond medical purposes. Demands increase for transparency and oversight as technologies merge biology with nanotechnology. Debates intensify around human augmentation and wireless biological interactions. Many warn of serious risks to freedom if these systems remain unchecked by those who value liberty. This patent drives urgent conversations on biotechnology and remote activation. With biology, nanotech, AI, and wireless systems converging, the push for human sovereignty faces new challenges. Biodigital advancements are advancing from theory to patented reality in influential circles. Saturday, May 16, 2026, mRNA COVID vaccines were designed to shut down your immune system, causing VAIDS, vaccine-acquired immunodeficiency syndrome, the Q awakening on Telegram. They knew it from day one. mRNA shots slash your white blood cell production, 50% after the first dose, then another 25% hit with the next, leaving you with just 25% of your immune army left. Boosters flood your body with 8 strands of foreign HIV plus 81 strands of bacteria your cells have never seen. While they stripped out the saline and cranked up the damage, your body goes into chronic inflammation mode. Predispositions explode, gut issues, respiratory problems, tumors, endometriosis, skin conditions, because your immune system is gone. You become dependent on endless boosters just to survive. Or you die off. Big Pharma's perfect customer for life, or death, scheme. And now the proof is published. A massive Korean study on 51 million people confirms it. Dose after dose, immune function collapses. Skyrocketing infections, common cold, pneumonia, TB up to plus 559%, immune dysregulation, and worse in every age group vaccinated. This isn't theory, it's data from an entire country. VAIDS is real. They weaponized mRNA to give you AIDS without the virus. This is the smoking gun they don't want you to see. Protect your family, and never take an mRNA shot. Why Saturday, May 16, 2026 breaking, President Trump leads U.S. military in covert operation to expose secret cloning labs. Half of the world's leaders are clones. Emergency broadcast system on Telegram. The U.S. military, under President Trump's leadership, has uncovered a chilling clandestine operation involving secret cloning labs. This covert mission exposes a hidden war where enemies have infiltrated the highest levels of global power, challenging the reality patriots thought they knew. Marines have revealed the deep state clone lab in the Ozark Caves. White hats are now destroying these scattered facilities one by one. General Eric M. Smith's pledge to do their best stands as a war cry in defense of American liberty and truth. President Trump asserts that eliminating the clones is as vital as taking down the real deep state players. This highlights the severe threat these operations pose to society and freedom. The discovery of a massive underground cloning lab in Antarctica is particularly disturbing. Hidden under holographic illusions, it contains 290 research centers dedicated to cloning. Scenes of a youthful Hillary Clinton clone in a cylinder symbolize the perversion of science by global elites seeking total control. Biden and Fauci's involvement adds layers of betrayal. Special forces are on a mission to destroy these deep state labs, fighting for the soul of the nation. Information shared with President Trump details a device in Antarctica producing baby clones and celebrity duplicates. This assaults human identity itself. The replacement of General Berger by General Smith marks a strategic advancement in the fight. Trump has addressed the cloning issue, noting cases like Gretchen Whitmer. Clones of Biden and Fauci are being examined at Womack Army Medical Facility to separate real from fake amid deception. Up to half of the world's leaders may be clones. These soulless biorobots lack spirituality and compassion, showing disturbed libido and manic homicidal traits. Possible clones include Barack Obama and similar figures, showing the depths of the cabal's schemes. This cloning crisis is an existential threat to humanity. The revelations by the military and President Trump are pieces of a larger puzzle. Patriots must question who they truly follow and trust as the fate of civilization hangs in the balance. Sunday, May 17, 2026 Health Alert, brain surgeon warning, they are spraying nano-aluminum into the sky, it's going straight to your brain. John F. Kennedy Jr. on Telegram. Dr. Russell Blaylock, an experienced brain surgeon, issues a grave warning. Nano-aluminum sprayed through geoengineering programs may be contributing to the rise in Alzheimer's and Parkinson's by targeting key brain areas. In a world full of distractions, Dr. Blaylock has sounded the alarm for years. The board-certified neurosurgeon states that nano-aluminum is sprayed into the atmosphere, entering the nose and going straight to the brain. This is supported by studies and medical trends. Nano-sized particles bypass defenses. They travel via the olfactory nerve to the hippocampus, the region most affected in Alzheimer'. This critical area handles memory, cognition, and emotions. Exposure leads to inflammation, cell death, and brain tissue degradation. With geoengineering intensifying in recent years through 2026, neurodegenerative diseases have surged. Alzheimer's affects over 6 million Americans and has doubled globally in 2 decades. Parkinson's is the fastest-growing neurological condition. Early-onset dementia rises among those under 60. Dr. Blaylock predicted these increases and notes both conditions have risen significantly since large-scale operations started. Geoengineering is promoted as a solution to cool the planet with reflective particles. Yet there is no transparency, no consent, and no thorough health studies on inhaling these substances. Some view the climate narrative as a cover for dangerous activities. Blaylock calls it criminal, not just poor science. Aluminum appears in vaccines, foods, cosmetics, and water too. This widespread use may keep the medical community silent to protect industries. Blaylock tells doctors that knowing and not speaking out makes them complicit. The public faces constant exposure to these nanometals in the brain without approval. Increases in mental fog, memory loss, anxiety, depression, and degenerative diseases may be linked to this engineered threat. Brains are at risk as long as the skies remain contaminated. Medical evidence meets toxic exposure and political inaction. People with symptoms deserve truth instead of denial. Dr. Russell Blaylock has called it out clearly. The science backs it, and the surrounding silence is loud. It is time to wake up and demand change before more harm occurs. Sunday, May 17, 2026. The Obama administration used a powerful CIA/NSA surveillance program originally built in 2003 to hunt terrorists overseas, but then used it to spy on American citizens, and later expanded the software to alter election outcomes. White Hats on Telegram. Just weeks after Obama took office in 2009, the program called the Hammer, HAMR, was illegally shifted to a secret CIA facility in Fort Washington, Maryland, and turned against American citizens for domestic spying, violating the Constitution. Obama, Joe Biden, John Brennan, and James Clapper were directly involved in the illegal operation. Scorecard software was later added, which is a vote manipulation tool installed on the Hammer system to intercept election data and flip 3% of votes in real time during transmission from voting machines/tabulators. Just another form of election manipulation on top of many others. The system was deployed in the 2012 election and Democratic primaries, and possibly in the 2016 and 2020 election as well. The most interesting part is that electronic vote manipulation goes back to the early 2000s. In October 2000, while working as a computer programmer at Yang Enterprises in Oviedo, Florida, computer programmer Clinton Eugene Curtis was directly approached by Tom Feeney, then Speaker of the Florida House of Representatives and the company's lobbyist, along with the company's corporate attorney, to create a prototype program capable of rigging elections. The software was designed to secretly flip votes 51 to 49 in favor of any chosen candidate or race without being noticed by election officials. Curtis states the program would be completely undetectable by county boards of elections unless someone examined the actual source code or had a verifiable paper trail/receipt to compare against the electronic totals. When Curtis initially provided a report on how to detect and prevent such fraud, including mandatory paper trails and source code reviews, the company owner, Mrs. Yang, rejected it and instructed him to hide the fraud in the source code instead. She reportedly told him it was needed to control the vote in South Florida. Curtis confirms he wrote the prototype as requested but left the company shortly afterward. He testified that such vote rigging software is simple to create, hundreds of lines of code at most, and could be inserted into central tabulators or voting systems. During his court testimony on this very program and the fraud in Ohio's 2004 election, based on significant discrepancies between exit polling data and official results in the 2004 Ohio presidential election, plus the known availability of rigging software and lack of protective measures, Curtis stated under oath that the 2004 Ohio election was likely hacked as well. This was just the early days of election rigging software and programs. Obama and his administration continued with their own endeavors as technology progressed, especially with Smartmatic and the use of wireless internet and remote access from anywhere in the world. This has been going on long enough. It's time to end any and all of these election rigging practices and programs and bring back real election integrity. If we don't fix our elections, we will lose this country, and it all starts with holding these people accountable. ZB. Sunday, May 17, 2026. University of Oxford given $26.7 million by Bill Gates vaccine cartel CEPI to develop Ebola virus injections. 4 months later, the WHO declared worldwide Ebola outbreak. Nicholas Huscher, mile per hour. Just a few months ago, January 2026, Bill Gates vaccine cartel CEPI gave Moderna and University of Oxford $26.7 million to begin developing Bundibugyo Ebola virus, BDBV, mRNA and viral vector injections. These are multivalent filovirus vaccine platforms, meaning they are designed to target multiple Ebola viruses and related filoviruses simultaneously, including Bundibugyo Ebola virus, BDBV. 4 months later, today, the WHO declared a public health emergency of international concern, FEIC, over a Bundibugyo Ebola outbreak in the Democratic Republic of Congo. The same playbook always repeats: develop vaccine, fearmonger, new outbreak, declare emergency, gain power and control, push vaccine as only solution. This marks the 17th Ebola outbreak recorded in the Democratic Republic of Congo since the virus was first identified there in 1976, and the third known outbreak of the Bundibugyo strain since it was first identified in 2007. Across Africa, there have been dozens of Ebola outbreaks over the last 50 years. Every previous Ebola outbreak has been successfully contained to the affected region without becoming a global pandemic. Why? Because Ebola, including the Bundibugyo strain, spreads through direct contact with bodily fluids from symptomatic individuals, not through the air or casual contact. There is simply no biological basis for this to become a worldwide pandemic. ZC. Sunday, May 17, 2026 leaked. Doctor discovered a real cancer cure in 1976, human peptides that shut down tumors at the genetic level and stop their growth, Nizar and Jazar on Telegram. Recent leaks exposed Dr. Stanislaw Brzezinski's 1976 discovery of human peptides that attack cancer at the genetic level. These compounds restore the body's natural defenses and stop tumor growth. The treatment delivered results for patients with no other hope. Studies of blood and urine revealed cancer patients lacked key peptides abundant in healthy people. Brzezinski synthesized them into anti-neoplastons that correct the switches allowing cancer proliferation. The establishment struck back with raids on facilities and seizure of records. Court battles exhausted resources and denied access to struggling Americans. Officials demanded trials rigged for failure to safeguard the lucrative chemotherapy industry that harms healthy tissue. Brzezinski's targeted peptides caused fewer side effects. Patients regained vitality as tumors shrank. Regulators blocked approval and confined use. This fits globalist plans to centralize medical power and favor patented drugs, creating dependency over natural options. The peptides threaten pharma profits. Regulators and industry coordinated legal barriers after successes. Evidence showed patient gains, not harm. American families suffered as loved ones lost chances at extended life. Cancer endures because alternatives are suppressed. President Trump saw the corruption and championed deregulation and patient rights. His leadership revealed agencies prioritizing special interests. America First seeks to end bureaucratic control and restore health freedom. Foreign pharma influenced policies to sideline this work. Injunctions limited access, shielding costly traditional treatments. These peptides reprogram gene expression without toxic poisons. Many patients survived far longer than expected. Patriots exposed how rules weaponize against innovators while Big Pharma gets fast tracks. Attacks concealed remission data. Trump's war on the administrative state includes freeing captured agencies. This discovery helps dismantle the deep state medical machine. The deep state dreads independent medicine empowering citizens. The establishment buried the cure for dominance. The America First push crumbles their hold. Real data proves it works. Full release approaches as the deep state weakens. ZD. Sunday, May 17, 2026 mRNA COVID vaccines were designed to shut down your immune system, causing VAIDS, vaccine-acquired immunodeficiency syndrome, Trump Truth Revolution on Telegram. They knew it from day one. mRNA shots slash your white blood cell production, 50% after the first dose, then another 25% hit with the next, leaving you with just 25% of your immune army left. Boosters flood your body with 8 strands of foreign HIV plus 81 strands of bacteria your cells have never seen. While they stripped out the saline and cranked up the damage, your body goes into chronic inflammation mode. Predispositions explode, gut issues, respiratory problems, tumors, endometriosis, skin conditions, because your immune system is gone. You become dependent on endless boosters just to survive. Or you die off. Big Pharma's perfect customer for life, or death, scheme. And now the proof is published, a massive Korean study on 51 million people confirms it, dose after dose, immune function collapses. Skyrocketing infections, common cold, pneumonia, TB up to plus 559%, immune dysregulation, and worse in every age group vaccinated. This isn't theory, it's data from an entire country.